Likkutei Tzav, page 22, second column. We're learning the Pesach Maamar. Okay, now the Rabbi is asking, quoting from the Agada, that the matzah we eat on Pesach is because the dough didn't have a chance to rise. So now the Rabbi asked a few questions. Number one, the Jews were anyway commanded to eat matzah. Secondly, the Jews in Pesach in Mitzrayim only kept 1 day chametz, not 7 days chametz. So now the Rebbe starts explaining that because they only kept 1 day not eating chametz, so therefore the Torah says nowadays that was the mitzvah they had to keep 1 day. But because they were driven out, factually, practically speaking, they had to have all 7 days. So he says we need to understand, generally speaking, what does this eating matzah mean? What's the concept of eating matzah? What is it spiritually? So he starts explaining there's simcha, which is the Yom Tif, level of Yom Tif, which is the level of Bina. Shabbos, on the other hand, is the level of Chochmah, the level of Einig. And he says there's two types of revelations. There's Ila va'olol, which is called cause and effect. Every level is connected. Therefore, one level becomes connected from the second level. And he says, then you have a level higher than Ishtalshus. Okay? So he says, that's what we're up to now. Okay, in middle of the second column of 22. This is the concept of Yom Tif, which is the revelation of Simcha, that from the Keres Habayis, from the woman who's barren, becomes Ema Banim Smeich. Ki Akeres Loshen Akra, Koloshen Chulda Zuhadora, Be'ikri Batim. It's like the level of the, like a weasel that gets into all the houses. Bebechinas Malchus Shemelubeshes Kol Yomim Dechel, Bebiade Klipas Neiga. Page Besefer shows to the Talmid Ramban. Okay. He says Yom Tov is a level of Ema Banim Smecha, meaning a level that Malchus, which permeates in all the spheres. Yom Tov V'Eila L'Mayla B'Atzilas. Bechinas Ema Banim Bina. In other words, like this. During the week, it's basically the world of Bria, right? Yom Tov, the world becomes elevated to a higher level. It's elevated to the level of Bina. Ema Banim Smecha. And then, Vasaga Ba'erin Saf HaNigla, then it understands the revealed level of Elokus. She'erin Sav Mishtal Shal Yerid Az Ba'efen She'yaded Achumav L'Tfisa Vasaga. Then, when Elokus comes down from Bina into the world of Bia, so it's basically limiting himself in a way that we can understand it. Because if it's above Seichel, in Atzilus, you can't understand it. So in order for Bina of Elokus, understanding of Elokus, to be understood, it needs to come into the level of Bria. Okay? So therefore, what is the level of Yom Tiv? When Malchus becomes elevated to Atzilus, and therefore it's able to grasp that level of Bina, which is the one that comes down in a level that we can understand it.
But understanding is Seichel.
Right, Bina. When Bina is revealed in Bia, it means a level of Bina comes down which is able to be understood. And the way the revelation is very great, what happened in Mitzrayim? There was this tremendous golus, darkness, especially after the plague of darkness. There's a lot of darkness. And now the Eden were able to see a Gili of Elokus. So in other words, like this. What happens on Yom Tiv is world becomes elevated to a level. It's able to understand the Elokus, which until now was in complete darkness. Understanding Elokus means a revelation. It's odd. So there's a great simcha when you're in darkness and all of a sudden you see light. That's the simcha of Yom Tov. What's the enjoyment of Olam Haba? He says, in Olam Haba, the neshama understands godliness. In the body, it was in galus, it was in darkness, it was in evil. It couldn't understand Elokus. What's the enjoyment of a neshama in Gan Eden? Finally, he's free to understand Elokus that it wanted to understand. Neshama always wants to understand Elokus, but in the body it couldn't. And he says, instead of being bound to the body where you don't see Elokus. Then the person passes away, the neshama goes up to Gan Eden. It becomes separated from the body, and it goes to the place it was carved out from. That is a tremendous pleasure. In other words, when you don't have something and you get it, it's much more pleasurable than if you didn't have it. There's an expression in Chazal, Tainuk tmidi eino tainuk. A constant pleasure is not a pleasure. If you always have it, it's not a pleasure. What is the pleasure? You don't have it, and now you got it. So when the neshama was in the guf, it didn't understand godliness. Now the neshama dies, leaves the body. Now the neshama understands the lukus. That's a tremendous pleasure.
Yeah, but the Shabbat is higher than Yom Tov.
Correct.
So what the hell is Shabbat?
Oneg, pleasure, not simcha.
Then when it goes up there, does it then it get used to that pleasure?
Yeah, but that's why it keeps going up. So I think it keeps elevating gradually. So Torah is enjoying Gan Eden because it's going to a better resort, better hotel. That what does it mean? Meaning that even in the level of a mizgala in Tzabachinus Yesh, that Elokus comes even into the level of the Yesh. That the neshama can have this grasping of Elokus. It understands. In other words, like this. A person born, as they say the expression in America, with a silver spoon in their mouth, when you're born into wealth, versus you became wealthy, you can't compare the enjoyment of the two. So what's the inyan of Yom Tov? Yom Tov is a level of simcha that that the worlds elevate, and now on neshama there's a greater, on Yom Tov there's a greater level of bina revealed in the neshama, what it can understand, and that's the simcha.
Who gets it?
The neshama, our neshama. Well, the body gets it by pressing, but
The neshama gets it down here when he...
yes.
But the neshama...
One second, without this, Shabbos is a greater revelation of Elokus in the world?
Yes.
Yes, you agree with that?
Yes.
Your body feels it, and your neshama feels it.
When my body feels it, believe me.
Okay.
No, I mean, you rest.
You must be Moshe Rabbeinu.
No,
You find
you
it, or Elyon Navi. We find it went up. I mean,
No, it's
better be careful. You might just go up like Elyon Navi.
No, it's a different day.
Your neshama feels it, your body feels it.
Neshama feels it.
Okay. Not your body.
Gam the body is like.
That's because you're eating and everything.
Right.
Okay, but if you wouldn't realize it's Shabbos.
The neshama.
Okay, neshama feels it, not the body.
What does neshama feel?
A greater connection with Hashem. Again, let's take things in proper perspective.
Neshama is
A revelation of godliness means what? There's more light?
Yes.
No. It's not physical light to turn on extra switches. It means the neshama has a stronger connection to Elokus. That's what it means. That is called a greater revelation. Revelation doesn't mean all of a sudden the Eibishter plugs in an extra Shabbos light, shoo, you know. It means the neshama feels more connected.
But the neshama doesn't feel.
The neshama has seichel and midas. What do you mean doesn't feel? Not physically like me and you.
Right.
Spiritually, it feels.
Neshama is above it. Neshama is above seichel and midas.
Not the neshama in the body. The uniqueness is the neshama in the body, which is, by the way, seichel and midas in the body, right? That level on Shabbos and Yom Tov feels a greater revelation of Elokus. If we would be more spiritual, the body would feel it too. Because the neshama by spiritual people is less blocked by the body than spiritual people.
So they feel the higher level of connection.
Yeah, because it's a greater revelation. So that means greater revelation again doesn't mean you give all of a sudden a lightning rod. You know, it means you feel a stronger connection.
But if you throw a Sadiq into the island, does it feel what day is Shabbat?
Yes. Me and you won't.
Rebbe knew what time of the day it was.
Now, Rebbe even knew what time it was during a weekday.
I knew too. I did not know I was Tzaddik.
You're a real big one. You're off the charts.
Has an expensive lunch.
Mamish off the charts. But you have to understand, you're talking about revelation of God. You have to understand what it means. It doesn't mean, it was on a big light, spotlight. It means you feel a closer connection. The neshama feels it.
Which river was it? As a kid, you noticed the change in the sky. I mean, right out. It's not a tzedek, no?
I don't remember.
The river is not.
I don't know. I'm not, but it means the person becomes more connected.
Somebody is about to shubha. That feeling, that in that moment, that feeling is the higher than the feeling that the tzaddik gets when the tzaddik bounds with Hashem. In that second that somebody does, returns.
The level of Abal Tshuva that's greater than the tzaddik is Rabbi Elazar ben Dudai Tshuva guy, not me and you Tshuva guy. Me and you Tshuva guy is not the level of Abal Tshuva that's greater than the tzaddik.
The shubha emeti, emet.
It's a different type of tshuva. There's tshuva me'ava, tshuva me'ira. Zdayin snasalik ezachiyas.
Not a 30-minute shubha.
Correct.
Was Adam a Sadiq?
Adam, Arishan, was a tzaddik.
How did he not feel that Hashem told him not to eat?
He had a wife that added on to Torah.
Right now we say Sadiq feels Shabbat. How did he not feel that, listen, I get disconnected by doing this action?
The reason why Adam Arishan sinned was because Hashem wanted him to sin.
No, besides
Okay, that's what do you mean beside that?
when he had a choice.
Had a choice. But Hashem was a part of Neira Lila B'nei Adam, the Medrash says. It was part of the master plan of this happening. Hashem wanted it to happen.
That's one way he wants to choose. Right?
And we said what Adam Rishon, according to not Chassidus, according to Chassidic literature, Adam Rishon thought he was a Rebbe, and that was the problem. He was only a Chassid, not a Rebbe. A Rebbe can elevate Sholosh Kippus Atmeis to Kedusha. Nobody else could. A Tzaddik also can. A Rebbe could. A Rebbe could elevate Sholosh Kippus Atmeis to Kedusha. Adam Rishon thought, Hashem said, don't eat from the tree. Don't eat from the tree means it's Sholosh Kippus Atmeis. Correct? Adam Rishon thought I could elevate that Sholosh Kippus Atmeis. The problem is, the Gemara says in Erev, in Chassid Gadol Hoya, he was only a big Chassid, he wasn't a Rebbe. And therefore a Chassid can't elevate Sholosh Kippus Atmeis. And therefore Adam Rishon sinned. But his intention was, beside that, Hashem wanted it to do it and all that stuff. But Adam Rishon's intent was to elevate ultimate Tumah, and that can't happen until Mashiach comes.
And Esau made the same mistake.
Yitzchak didn't make a mistake. We should have those mistakes. Yitzchak wanted to elevate Esav then, and Hashem said, you can't do it yet. Try, but you can't. Yitzchak was not wrong for trying, by the way. Remember we learned, why did Moshe Rabbeinu say Meraglim if Hashem said no? Why did Moshe Rabbeinu say? So we learned. Alter Rebbe explained, the Rebbe is my Maamar on it, Alter Rebbe explains. Because conquering Eretz Yisrael means transforming the Nefesh Habamis to Nefesh Likkutei. Right? And that's what the Meraglim wanted to do. So the problem was the Jews weren't able to elevate. Like you said, Yeshua spent spies to Yericho, which is Machshava Dibra Maisa. That a person could elevate. Sending spies to Eretz Yisrael to transform Klippa, the 7 nations, to Kedusha, Hashem said, I cannot command you to do it. Why? Because not every Jew can elevate the 7 midas. Only a tzaddik can transform Nefesh Habamis to Nefesh Likkutei. A regular person can't do it. So Hashem says, I can't command you to do it because Hashem says, I can't command something for you to do that you can't do. 1 minute. So Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to send Meraglim. Hashem says, if Hashem said you can't elevate it, so why is he sending Meraglim? Because Moshe Rabbeinu said you got to try anyway. Like the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, that even a Beinoni should try to become a tzaddik. A Beinoni can't become a tzaddik, but if he tries hard enough, Hashem will give him, extra koyach, whatever. So Moshe Rabbeinu, so that's how the Rebbe explains this whole thing. Yeshua sent Meraglim to Yericho because Mashchav Dibra Maisa, that's a Beinoni. Everybody could be a Beinoni. So if Hashem says you can't elevate it, why is Moshe Rabbeinu doing it? Moshe Rabbeinu did whatever, only what Hashem wanted. The answer is, he said you got to try. Yitzchak said let's try. It didn't work. By the way, by Yitzchak trying, helped in the avodah of elevating the Esav during the time of Golus.
Say it again.
By Yitzchak wanting to bench Esav to elevate, to bring Mashiach, then by the fact that he did it and he wanted to do it, helped in the avodah of elevating Esav to Kedusha, which is ultimately only going to happen when Mashiach comes, not before.
Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to go into Eretz Yisrael. He tried with 500 and something prophets.
515, yeah.
Okay, but he tried.
So you have to try.
I'm just saying, he tried.
Okay, but Hashem says, I can't command you to do, because if I command you to do it, means you could do it. And Hashem says, I'm telling you can't do it. So how can I command you? But he didn't say it's forbidden to send spies. What did Hashem say? I can't command you to do it. I can't. I'm not commanding you to do it. Hashem didn't say it's forbidden to send spies. If Hashem would have told Moshe Rabbeinu it's forbidden to send spies, he wouldn't have sent. Hashem said, I can't command you because the Jews can't do it, but try. So Adam Rishon wanted to elevate Shlosh Tzatmeis. Yitzchak wanted to elevate Esav. All these things. Yaakov also thought he'd elevate Esav. Then he saw it's not working. Later, when Mashiach comes. Okay, so he says,
Is it possible at one point they were able to do this thing? Is the war is going on at one time, Adam is able to?
every person at a certain time could be a tzaddik. You could despise evil and transform evil to good. But it doesn't happen too often. By a tzaddik, it's 24/7. Even if you do it once a lifetime, once a year, whatever, it's something. Epis. But again, the revelation of Elokus and Yom Tif means that the neshama feels more connected. When you feel more connected, that's a definition of Elokus, of a Gili Elokus.
I don't understand why Shabbat is higher than Yom Tov in Revelation.
Even halachically, Shabbos is holier than any other.
Explain that to me in a simple language. What happens?
Shabbos is a greater revelation of godliness than Yom
What
Tov.
does that mean?
What does that mean? the connection with Hashem and a Jew is greater on Shabbos than it is during the week.
How many connections we have? Either we are connected or we are not.
You can have $1, you can get $2. You have money, you don't have money. You have $1, you get $2. You get $10, you get $100,000.
If the connection is there, his connection is there.
Talking about food, Rabbi, food.
20,000 watts.
You can have,
The connection is there. So
Small
either
Yeah.
connected or not.
But how much?
do you have,
juice is flowing?
1 second. You have friends?
Yeah.
You have closer friends? How can you have closer friends? If you're a friend, how can you be closer?
Of course,
But
there's
then you
someone
have a
close.
You have money. Don't tell me, because I'll ask you for a donation. You have money? What does it mean you have more money? You have money, so there are dollars. I have money. So what's it mean that $1 and $1 million? I have this is money, this is money.
When you have a part of the essence, you have the essence.
It's like
No, you have
Is it revealed? Etzem building is gala. The essence can't be revealed.
But you connected.
You're connected in revelation and feelings. The neshama feels elukus. Feeling is not essence because essence cannot be felt. Essence built in this gala. But it's okay.
Essence,
Rabbi, how